So I got cough from my son actually.
ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् ॐ श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः। ॐ वृषभं चर्षणीनां विश्वरूपमदाभ्यं बृहस्पतिं वरेण्यम् ॐ तद्विष्णोः परमं पदं सदा पश्यन्ति सूरयः दिवि चक्षुराततम् ॐ श्रीं ह्रीं महालक्ष्म्यै नमः। ॐ श्लीं ह्रीं ज्योतिर्ब्राह्माय नमः। Now we'll say Hare Ramakrishna. Om Hare Ramakrishna, Hare Ramakrishna, Hare Ramakrishna. Okay, we are in chapter 10, Arishtabhangadhyayam. So now Parasara is saying, Ityarishtam maya proktam tadbhangaschapi kachyate yatssamalokyam jatanam rishtarishtam vadedbhudah. Okay, actually is probably yatssamalokya jatanam rishtarishtam vadedbhudah. Ityarishtam maya proktam tadbhangaschapi kachyate yatssamalokya jatanam rishtarishtam vadedbhudah. So what it means is, iti, like this, arishtam, all the evils, maya proktam, has been mentioned by me, all the evils have been covered very well by me. Tadbhangaschapi kachyate, that bhanga means break. So break of that. Tadbhangascha api, that also kachyate, will be said now. Yat samalokya, by looking at, by carefully analyzing which, jatanam, of newborn, of the born people, rishtarishtam vadedbhudah, either evil or no evil, basically can be said properly by a learned person. So he's basically saying there are some combinations that basically nullify the evils. I am going to tell you those things, the things that cancel the evils. Second verse. Yekopi gnarya shukranam lagnat kendragato yadi harishtam nikhilam hanti timiram bhaskaro yatha. Yekopi, even one, gna arya shukranam. Gna means learned one. Who is the learned one among planets? Mercury. So gna, the word gna is, gna is usually used for Mercury. And Arya, actually, teacher, right? Arya is basically, literally is a cultured person. That's what it literally means. But Arya Shukranam, basically all the three benefits, natural benefits are covered here. So Jupiter, Mercury and Venus, out of those even one. So Gna is Mercury, Arya is Jupiter and Shukra is Venus. Out of them even one, Lagnat Kendragato Yadi. From Lagna, if he is in a quadrant, if even one of Mercury, Jupiter and Venus is in a quadrant from the Lagna, Arishtam Nikhilam Hanti. So all the evils will be killed. Timiram Bhaskaro Yatha. Just as sun kills darkness. So basically the simile here is, if the evil in the horoscope, any other evil combination in the horoscope is like darkness, then these planets in a kendra, they are like sun. Yeka eva bali jivo lagnasthorishta samchayam hanti papakshayam bhaktya pranamayavasulinah एक एव बली जीवो लग्नस्थो रिष्ट संचयम् हन्ति पापक्षयम् भक्त्या प्रणाम इव शूलिनः. Okay. Now, एक एव बली जीवो. एक एव means just one, single. Bali जीवो, strong Jupiter. Lagnastho, placed in the Lagna. So he is saying, even if he is, you don't need all these Mercury, Jupiter, Venus. Even Jupiter, if he is single, Jupiter is single and he is strong in Lagna. If he is placed in Lagna, then Rishta Sanchayam Hanti. Rishta Sanchayam means not just one evil, but a collection of multiple evils will be killed by such a Jupiter. Papakshayam Bhaktya Pranamayo Shulinah. That means if you pray to Shiva, if you do a pranam to Shiva, Shuli means Shiva, all your evils are supposed to be destroyed. Papakshayam Bhaktya Pranamayo Shulinah. So, just as all the evils of a person, all the sins are not evils, but sins of a person are destroyed by doing namaskar, pranam to Shiva, just like that, Jupiter in Lagna destroys a multiple collection of evil combinations in the chart. So he is saying basically Jupiter in Lagna is a great blessing. And he is comparing that to Shiva basically. Jupiter in Lagna is kind of being compared to Shiva.
So what
Shiva's
is
blessings.
the agenda of that Jupiter in the chart?
He doesn't seem to refer to this Lagna, that Lagna. So this is a generic combination. Even in the previous verse, he said Mercury, Jupiter and Venus. He did not say whether they are functional benefics or not. So irrespective of whatever their agenda is, those natural benefics, when they are in Lagna, any evils that show short life or any such bad things, basically they will offset them. The next verse is fourth one. एक एव विलग्नेशः केन्द्र संस्थो बलान्वितः अरिष्टम् निखिलम् हन्ति पिनाकी त्रिपुरम् तथा. एक एव विलग्नेशः means just one, the lord of Vilagna. Vilagna can be interpreted as special ascendant Lagna, but let us just say ascendant lord here. Vilagna means ascendant, Vilagnesha means ascendant lord. So just alone the ascendant lord Kendra Sanstho Balanvitha. He is in a quadrant. Kendra Sanstha means very nicely. Kendra means quadrant. Kendrastha means in the quadrant, station in the quadrant. The word he uses is Kendra Samstha. Sam means Samyak, well. So it's not just stationed in a quadrant. It means well stationed in a quadrant.
Maybe Lagna.
It can be any quadrant, but he has to be well placed.
Oh.
Not like he is in debilitation or he is in an inimical sign or something. So the words, the preposition some used before stha, that basically conveys the meaning that he should be strong or he should be well placed. So if the Lagna Lord is well placed in a quadrant from Lagna, Balanvitaha, he is also saying he is strong. So he is well placed and he is strong. Then Arishtam Nikhilam Hanti, all evils are destroyed. Pinaki Tripuram Yatha, just as Shiva destroyed the three cities. Basically he is saying, he is basically giving importance to Jupiter in Lagna or Lagna Lord in a quadrant. Because Lagna Lord is basically the most important planet. He is the highest functional benefit. So the previous verse covered the highest natural benefit having association with Lagna. This verse covers the highest functional benefit of a chart being well placed. The next one is Shukla Pakshe Kshapa Janma Lagne Saumya Nirikshite Vritam Krishna Pakshe Tatha Rishta Vinashanam. Okay, this is a tricky one. Shukla Pakshe Kshapa Janma Lagne Saumya Nirikshite. That means Shukla Pakshe, the birth is happening in Shukla Paksham. That means waxing. The waxing fortnight, the increasing fortnight. Okay. Kshapa Janma. Kshapa means night. So Shukla Pakshe Kshapa Janma means in the Shukla Paksha birth happens in the night time. Lagne Saumya Nirikshite. And Lagna is being aspected by Saumya. Saumya means Saumya has two meanings. One is Mercury, the other is benefic. We will interpret that as benefic here. So birth should happen in Shukla Paksha Lagna should be aspected by a benefic and birth should be in the night. Okay? Viparitam Krishna Pakshe, or if it is in Krishna Paksha, it is Viparitam. That means Lagna should be aspected by a malefic and birth should happen in daytime. Tatha Arishta Vinashanam. Then Arishta will be destroyed. Arishta will be nullified. Okay, Shukla Paksha. Okay, so Shukla Paksha night time is good, Krishna Paksha daytime is good. And Shukla Paksha benefic aspect on Lagna is good, Krishna Paksha malefic aspect on Lagna is good. So again this combination will act as an antidote to all these evils. Jayasthane yada suryastula lagne tu jayate jivessa satavarshani virghayurbalako bhavet. Vyayasthane yada surya means in the 12th house if Surya is, in the 12th house if Sun is, that means Sun should be in the 12th house, Mangargasthana. He is saying Sun should be in Mangargasthana. Tula lagne tu jayate, but he is not saying any lagna. Tula lagna. Lagna should be Libra and Sun should be in Virgo. Why is Sun being in Mangargasthana okay in this case? For Tula Lagna, Sun being in Mangargasthana is considered to be good here. Jive sa Shatavarshani. May he live for 100 years. Dirghayur balgo bhavet. Such a child will become long lived. Yes?
11th Lord in 12.
So, what is special about 11th Lord? I'll give you a clue. Badhaka. For Tula Lagna, who is the Badhakesha? Sun. So for Tula Lagna, the 11th Lord, Sun happens to be Badhaka Lord. So his being in the 12th house is good. So Sun being in the 12th is good only for Tula Lagna. Just because Badhakesha being in 12th house is, or Badhakesha being in 12th is good and Badhakesha being in Mangargasthana is very good. Yeah, so Badha will not basically happen. The troubles will be destroyed. So that is why there is long life. So this is another combination. The other one is Guru Bhaumo Yada Yukto Guru Drashto Athava Kujah Hatva Ristamashesham Cha Jananja Shubhakrut Bhavet. Guru Bhaumo Yada Yukto. Jupiter and Mars, if they are together, Guru Drashto Athava Kujah, or Jupiter is aspecting Mars. Mars is aspected by Jupiter. Hatvarishtam ashesham cha, then all great evils will be killed by that combination. Jananyaha. Jananyaha Shubhakrut Bhavet. That means all the evils will be destroyed and that combination will become the giver of auspicious results for mother. So this is good for mother. Jupiter and Mars either together or Mars being aspected by Jupiter is good for mother. The next verse is Chaturtha Dashame Papah Somya Madhye Yada Bhavet Pitu Saukhyakaro Yoga Shubhai Kendra Trikonagaihi. Okay. Chaturtha Dashame Papah means a malefic planet. Chaturtha Dashame means
4th and 10th.
4th and 10th. So he is saying Chaturtha Dashame Papa Saumya Madhya Yada Bhavet. Saumya Madhya means Saumya is benefic, Madhya means in the middle. So what does it mean? Kartari. In the middle of benefic. That means having Kartari from benefic. So in the 4th or 10th house, the two key quadrants, 4th and 10th, contain a malefic planet, but he is having Shubhakartari from two benefics, 2 or more benefics. So on either side, basically 3rd and 5th have benefics while 4th is having a malefic, or 10th has a malefic while 9th and 11th have benefics. So if that combination occurs, then Pitu Saukhya Karo Yoga means it is auspicious for father. Such a combination is auspicious for father. Shubhai Kendra Trikonagaihi. And also there should be malefics in the quadrants or trines. So if there are benefics in quadrants and trines, and there are benefics having Kartari and a malefic who is in either 4th or 10th, then it is a good yoga for father.
Why 10th, 4th?
He is not saying.
9th house is father.
9th house is father, yes.
So,
So first take the 9th and 11th having benefics.
right.
So the second house of basically death
Death, right.
contains a malefic. But there is a Subhakartari from 2 planets who are in the 1st and 3rd. 3rd is vitality and 1st is the very existence. So those benefics will take care of that malefic. Any evils given to father by the planet malefic are basically offset. So there are good results. Similarly, what about the 4th house? It is the 8th for father. If you take the 9th house as Lagna, the 4th is basically 8th house of longevity for father. If there is a malefic, let us say Mars or Ketu or somebody is there in the 8th house, it can show short life of father or problem in longevity for father. But again, if there is Kartari, Shubhakartari from planets, 9th house planet will give fortune, and 7th house planet again, 7th house is the house of death. If there is a benefic there, it may not be conducive to death. Bottom line is the 8th house planet is being checked by 2 benefics who are having Kartari on it. So it is auspicious. And of course, he mentioned only for father. But can you extend it to mother? Take the 4th, and the second from 4th is 5th house. So 5th house or 11th house containing malefics, but having Shubhakartari from 2 benefics. Maybe it is good for mother. He did not mention it. Whatever words he gives for mother, if you can't understand the logic, you can't extend it. But if you understand the logic, you can extend it to mother, brother, etc. Okay. Next verse is Somyantaragatai papai shubhai kendra trikonagaih sajjo nasayate rishtam tadbhavotha phalam natat. Okay. Somyantaragatai papai means Saumya antargatai means in the middle of Saumyas, in the middle of benefics have gone who? Papaihi, malefics. Malefics have gone in the middle of benefics. That means again Kartari. So malefic planets have Shubhakartari, have benefic scissors. Basically on 2 sides of the malefic planets there are benefic planets. And Shubhai Kendra Trikonagai, and benefic planets are in Kendras and Trikonas, quadrants and trines. Sajjo Nashayate Rishtam Tadbhavotha Palam Natat. Sajjo Nashayate Rishtam. Very quickly is destroyed the Arishta. The evil is destroyed very quickly. Tadbhavotha Phalam Natat. That means Tadbhavotha Phalam. That means the result, the evil result given based on that house, whichever house the malefic is in, if you are going to say some malefic results based on the malefic planet in that house, they do not happen. So any house, if there is a malefic planet and you are going to expect some evil results because of the malefic planet there, those results will not happen if that planet is hemmed by 2 benefics. Okay. So this is not for father or mother, this is a generic result. If there is, let's say 10th house a malefic and you expect some problems in career, let's say Rahu is in 10th house, you expect some problems in career, but 9th house has Venus and 11th house has Jupiter, let us say, then no evils in the career. Okay.
It's only occupying the planets, but you cannot say that like houses are, like 10th house has a malefic house.
10th house has?
Bad house. Let's say odd numbers are bad houses and even numbers are good houses.
Not necessarily. Okay, you are saying, let's say 6th house is considered an evil house because it shows obstructions. Yeah. So if there is a Shubhakartari on that house,
will it have the same result?
The verse doesn't apply, but the spirit of the verse applies.
Yeah, okay.
So the thing is, let's say a malefic was there in that house, he would give a lot of troubles, a lot of obstacles, but the spirit to overcome them. And let's say there are benefics on both sides of that house, then all those obstacles shown by that malefic planet will not happen. Right. If there is no malefic planet to start with, it is even better. Right. And still if there is a benefic Kartari, it is even better. So the verse doesn't literally apply, but you can basically extend it. It may be even better.
Double benefit.
Basically 10th house having a malefic planet with Shubhakartari is also good. But if 10th house is empty with Shubhakartari, it is even better.
Yeah.
On the other hand, if 10th house has a benefic planet with two other benefits on both sides, it is even better. Okay. Basically, if I say somebody hit me and I take a medicine to cure me, or I take something. Somebody hit me and I became weak, and then I drank some tonics to make me strong. If nobody hits me and still I eat the tonic, I will be even stronger. It's kind of like that. Okay. Now we are done with this particular adhyaya. So for the first time we finished one adhyaya in very quickly, because this is a short adhyaya. This is not really remedy. This is basically antidote. Now we will start the other adhyaya. We will not, of course, finish it. We will do a few verses in the next adhyaya also, in the next 15 minutes. This is Bhava Viveka Adhyaya. Means basically the meaning of various houses. The wisdom of various houses. Arishtam tad brabhangancha shrutam tvatto maya mune kasmat bhavat phalam kim kim vicharyamiti me vada. Now Maitreya is asking, Arishtam means evil results, tat prabhangam, that means the cutting of evils. Cha, also shrutam, heard, tvatto, from you, maya, by me, mune, O sage, from you the evils and their antidotes have been heard by me. Kasmat bhavat phalam kim kim, from whatever house, what results, vicharyam, should be considered. Iti, thus, mevada, please tell me. So tell me what are the results to be seen from various houses. Then Parashara says, Deham rupam cha jnanam cha varnam chaiva balabalam sukham dukkham swabhavam cha lagna bhavan nirikshayet. Deham rupam cha jnanam cha varnam chaiva balabalam. Deham means physical existence, physical body. Rupam, the appearance, the beauty, the way you look, whether you look sad, whether you look tall. Basically various attributes of the body, basically. How the body comes across to people. Rupam, deham, rupam cha, jnanam cha. Basically beauty also. Rupam is appearance and beauty. Jnanam cha means the overall intellect, the wisdom, intellect. Jnanam cha, varnam chaiva balabalam. Varnam means color. The complexion of the body, whether he is black or white or brown or yellowish or reddish, that thing. Varnam chaiva balabalam. Balabalam means the strengths and weaknesses. That means the overall character traits, the character strengths and weaknesses. Sukham dukkham swabhavam cha. Sukham dukkham. Sukham means comfort. Dukkham means sadness. So basically how prone the person is to happiness and unhappiness. Basically the overall nature of the person. That's what he means by that. Swabhavam cha. Swabhavam means the inherent nature. Lagna bhavan nirikshayet. All that should be seen from the first house, Lagna bhavam. So these are the primary indications of first house. Dhanadhanyam kutumbanscha mrityujalamamitrakam dhaturatnadikam sarvam dhanasthanan nirikshayet. Dhanadhanyam. Dhanam means wealth. Dhanyam means the grains, the food that you have and all the grains that you store in your house. Kutumbanscha means families. Mrityujalam. Mrityujalam means death. The web of death that basically you get sucked into. The web of death. Amitrakam means those who are not friends. That means enemies. So for enemies, Parashara is saying second house, an important house. Dhatu ratnadikam. Dhatu means any metals that you own. If you own lot of gold and jewelry, second house is important for seeing that gold and jewelry. So dhatu means, actually he is not saying jewelry, he is saying all the metals you own. So if you own lot of gold biscuits, for example, second house. Ratnadikam. Ratnam means the gems. The gems, stones, etc. that you own. Dhatu Ratnadikam Sarvam. All these Dhanasthana Nirikshayet. All these should be seen from the second house of wealth. Now third house. Vikramam Bhrutya Bhatradi. Vikramam, that means boldness. Bhrutya initiative. Initiative and boldness. Bhrutya means Bhrutya. Bhrutya means servant. Also, somebody who basically attends on you, an attendant. So boldness, initiative, your servants, bhratradi. Bhratradi means brothers, etc. That means brothers, sisters, etc. Siblings. Chopadesha prayanakam. Cha means and. Upadesha. Upadesha means initiation into any knowledge or any order, any religious order. So initiation or in general any teaching, any great teaching that you receive. Prayanakam means journey, any journeys that you undertake. Pitror vai maranam vigno. Pitror vai maranam. That means pitroh vai maranam. That means father's death. So third house is also father's death because it's 7th from 9. So father's death, vigno, should be well understood. Duschityacha nirikshayet. So all those should be seen from the third house. Next one. Fourth one. Vahanani. Vahananyatha bandhunscha. Vahanani means vehicles. Atha, dhar. Bandhunscha, relatives. Vehicles, relatives. Matra saukhyadikanyapi. Matru saukhyadikani api. That means the happiness from mother. Nidhi kshetram gruham chapi. Nidhi means any treasures that you find. Comforts and also treasures that you may find. Kshetram means the lands that you own, like agricultural lands or just real estate. How? Next one is gruham. That means house. Chapi. Chatuthat Parichintaye. So all these things should be seen from the fourth house. So the treasures, that's okay. This will, yeah. So these are the things that you see from the fourth house. So far, based on what we know, are there any surprises?
The enemies in the second house.
That's a surprise, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
Enemies in the second house is kind of surprise. Yeah, we normally see fifth house. So second house has been mentioned for Amitrakam. So that is an interesting thing. Okay. But other things, basically relatives, mother, all these in the fourth house, we basically know all these things. Next one, fifth house. Yantra mantrau tatha vidyam buddheschaiva prabandhakam putra rajyapa bhransadin pasyet putravayad buddha. Okay, this is yantra mantrau. Yantra mantrau means any yantras that you use in spiritual sadhana. And mantra means any mantras. Basically various sophisticated knowledge or even religious spiritual knowledge. This is just knowledge, not pursuit. Yantra mantrau tatha vidyam. Tatha vidyam. And vidya means scholarship, knowledge that you have. Buddheschaiva prabandhakam. Buddhi means wisdom. So scholarship, wisdom, intelligence, all these things. Prabandhakam. Buddheschaiva prabandhakam. That means how well organized the wisdom is. So it's basically wisdom. Putra rajya apabhranchadin. Putra rajya apabhranchadin. Putra means children. Rajya means kingdom. Apabhrancha means losing the kingdom. So getting the kingdom, losing the kingdom, children, all these pasyet putralayat buddha. All these should be seen from the fifth house. Learned person will see all these things from the fifth house. Matulantaka sankanam. Matula antaka sankanam.
So losing the kingdom, Hector is fortune.
Yeah. Yeah, but the thing is, all these things, second house shows wealth. But if somebody is a pauper, lack of wealth is also second house. Lack of anything, as long as you have an object, lack of this object is also basically seen from weaknesses in that house. Right? 10th house is your career. Male beings in 10th house are having no career. If somebody is having no career, for example, maybe there are exceptions to 10th house. Similarly, for all other things he did not negate. But for kingdom he negated, because having kingdom and losing an existing kingdom, both are very important results. That is why he specially mentioned it. And it does happen to people. People who are in big powerful positions, they obviously lose the position at some point of time. Not all of them, but many of them. It used to happen to kings in the old days. It happens to presidents and prime ministers today. They lose their kingdom. Matulantaka sankanam shatrunschaiva vranadikan sapatni mataram chapi sarta bhavani khayet. Okay, matula. Matula means mama, maternal uncle. Matula, antaka sanka. Antaka means, literally antaka means yama, her death. Antaka sanka means a suspicion. Antaka sanka means suspicion of death. So serious worries. So basically he is talking about serious worries, as though you are going to be dead. Serious concerns or suspicions of death are from the 6th house. Shatrunschaiva, and enemies. So second house has been mentioned, but also 6th house is being mentioned. So enemies should be seen from second as well as 6th, not just 6th.
Maybe serious enemies here.
For me?
Maybe serious enemies here.
Perhaps. Or perhaps second house shows all the wealth, etc. How do enemies come across usually? There are two ways in which enemies come across. One is general, the second thing is relating to all the wealth that you have. A rich man has more enemies, they say. A poor man has no enemies. His poverty is his enemy. So the bottom line is, if a rich man has enemies on account of his wealth, basically, litigation on account of wealth, etc., probably second house is more relevant there than the 6th house. So that may be one possible interpretation. But the thing is, he has advised both the houses. Vranadikan, maturantaka sankanam, shatrunschaiva vranadikan. Vrana means? No, Rana that is. This is Rana. Rana means serious wounds. Or even things like Vranam. Or even things like cancer, etc. Cancers, ulcers. He translated as ulcer. But basically, Rana literally means serious wound. Serious bad condition in the body, basically. Sapatni mataram chapi. Sapatni mataram. That means?
Mother-in-law?
No. Sapatni literally means, actually he translated as stepmother. That is Santanam's translation. Sapatni mata means, according to him, stepmother. But as far as I know, Sapatni basically means your, basically in Telugu basically Savati. That is the word. I don't know what is the Hindi word or English word. Basically, if your husband has another wife, that wife is your Sapatni.
Father has another wife.
Pardon me?
Father or husband?
No, husband. Husband has, in the case of a female, If the husband has another wife, that wife is your sapatni basically, assuming you are a woman. So for a woman in a female chart, husband's other wife, basically co-wife. So we can Indianize Indianize English and come up with that term. Because in today's world you don't have sapatni.
Is there? There's a polygamy.
Yeah, if there is polygamy, yes, like in Utah, yeah.
In Utah, right?
Yes, right, you are right. So those are sapatnis, you are right. So, but in old days it was very common in India and many societies it was very common. Men would have many wives, so there would be a lot of sapatnis. So, sapatni mataram. So it basically seems to say mother of your mother of your sapatni. So basically if you take your sapatni as a sibling, even though it's not sibling, it's basically like your sister. Third house, so fourth from third. So that is sixth. So that could basically what it means. That is as far as I know. But Santanam has translated as stepmother, so perhaps it is also stepmother. Basically mother's sister. Fourth house is mother, third house from there is sister. So mother sister. So maybe it also shows stepmother, like he said, perhaps it shows stepmother as well as it shows all motherly people, basically all people who are like not directly mother but like mother. For example, all your aunts, maternal aunts. If your mother has any siblings, those will be seen in the sixth house. Okay. And the thing is, even if your mother has it could also mean when you say stepmother, suppose your mother is alive and your father is married to another woman at the same time. So that person is also shown by the sixth house. And the thing is, this is being taken as the third from fourth, basically sibling of the mother, rather than sixth house from fourth, enemy of mother. In today's society, if a man has two wives, those two wives may be seen as enemies of each other. But in old society, they were not really seen as enemies. They would be on good terms often. Today, in today's culture, for somebody to actually maintain two wives, usually is done in secrecy. Now, I am not talking about Utah, but I am talking about India. If somebody has two wives, one official wife, one unofficial wife, they would be done in secrecy. One would not know of the other, or usually the second one may know of the first one, but the first one doesn't know of the second one. So basically they see each other as a competitor, as a rival. So then the sixth from fourth would be more relevant. But here he is talking about the third. So basically there is a sibling-like love between them. Maybe sibling-like rivalry also, but sibling-like love is also between them. So it is applicable to that kind of society. So all these should be Sattabhava Nirikshaye. They should be seen from the sixth house. The next verse, seventh house. Jaya madhva prayanam cha vanijjam nashtavikshanam maranam cha swadehasya jaya bhava nirikshaye. Jayam means spouse. Adhva prayanam cha means a long journey, a travel on a road. Jayam adhva prayanam cha. So travel has been mentioned both for third house and seventh house. If you see third house verse, Upadesha prayanakam, he used the word prayanakam. Usually ka is seen for a small thing. It doesn't have to. Ka is just a general suffix. But when you specifically want to show something small, you use the suffix ka. It doesn't necessarily imply something small, but it hints at something small. So the word used prayana for seventh house and prayana ka for third house. So small journeys seem to be from the third house, whereas relatively long journeys where you just keep going. Maybe you start in Hyderabad and you go all the way up to Kashi on road, for example. That is seventh house. So long journeys are from the seventh house.
But not by time, right? It is just by time.
It could be by time, it could be by the distance. We don't know for sure. But basically seventh and third houses both show journeys, traveling. Vanijjam nashtavikshanam. Vanijjam means business. Nashta Vikshanam means loss of? No, Vikshanam means not eyes, eyesight. Nashta Vikshanam means loss of eyesight. So Vanijyam Nashta Vikshanam. Maranam cha Swadehasya. Maranam cha means death. Swadehasya, of own body. So death of own body. Jaya Bhava Nidikshayat. All these are seen from the 7th house. So is there anything new that we didn't know? Long journey, wife or husband, business, death, we all knew.
I thought sight you see from the 2nd house.
Sight is from the 2nd house. Yes.
Second in 10th. So second and 9th.
Yeah.
Here it came out to be 7. That's a surprise.
2nd house we normally say shows eyes, and the dharma of the 2nd house is seeing.
Okay.
So we say that it is 9th from 2nd, which is the 10th house. So we normally say that 10th house will show eyesight. But why, it's not entirely clear to me why he says 7th house shows the loss of vision. So loss of vision is from the 2nd house. Why? I'm not entirely clear. If you have any, do you have any thoughts?
This first time I'm hearing about 7th house with sight.
Yes. We have never looked at it like that. Okay.
Even long journey also, like I thought 12th house is travel, long travel.
Oh, we have seen 7th house for long travels in the past. That is something we have done in the past. So that's not really new, but this is new. So we'll ponder about it, and we'll, maybe if I have any thoughts I'll share in the next class. I'll ponder about it. The next verse is Ayuranam Ripum Chapi Durgam Mrutadhanam Tatha. Ayuranam Ripum Chapi. What I will do is I will make this class short.
I need to do it.
Okay, that is excellent. So we'll make this class short. We'll just quickly finish all the 12 houses in this particular. We will not do any example in this class. So we'll wrap up quickly. So I will continue, even though it's 7:35. I'll continue for 10 more minutes and finish this. Ayuranam Ripum Chapi Durgam Mrutadhanam Tatha. Ayu means longevity. Ranam means, what is Ranam? Battle, war. Normally for war, what house do we see? 6th house. He said 6th house for enemy. But the fight that you engage in with the enemy, he is saying 8th house. 3rd from 6th. This is again new. Ripum Chapi. Ripu means enemy. Again enemy is coming up.
8th house.
So enemy is from 2nd, 6th and 8th. With what is the house of enemy? Don't say 6th house. 2nd, 6th and 8th. 2nd could be enemies on account of wealth. 6th could be in general enmities and rivalries with other people. 8th could be enmities that take you to war. Very serious enmities on account of which you have to basically put your life on the line. That kind of enmities. Okay? Ayuranam Ripum Chapi Durgam. What is Durgam? The fort. So basically protection, the serious protection. It could also imply hidden things. Things that are hidden things. Durgam, Mrutadhanam Tatha. Mrutadhanam means? Dhanam means wealth. Mruta means dead. What is Mrutadhanam?
Loss of ancestors.
No.
Or wealth.
Not necessarily ancestral. He is not saying ancestral. Inherited wealth of a dead person. So basically money inherited after somebody's death. When somebody dies, based on the will, you get the money. So that kind of money. Basically money that involves death.
You only get the relative, right?
Pardon me?
Relative.
Not necessarily relative.
Yes.
Suppose somebody died and in their will he said, hey, I love Vijay Chitra. He is such a nice person. He never hurt anybody. He taught yoga to so many people. Let me give my $1 million to Vijay. Suppose suddenly one day you get a notice from lawyer saying you got $10 million. Come and correct it. That is 8th house. That is Pakka 8th house.
Deep take sometimes they send out an email that you have been
Well, I'm getting so many jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody in Uganda is getting.
No, now it's coming from London.
Yeah.
Also from UK.
I see. Okay. So mridudhanam tatha गत्यनुकादिकं सर्वं पश्ये पश्येद्रन्ध्राद् विचक्षणः गत्यनुकादिकं सर्वं. Gati means the previous, what happened to the person, the previous places been that the person, the previous, the past of the person, and anukam means what is going to happen. So basically this seems to suggest all the past karmas. Basically, even though the whole chart shows the karma, 8th house has serious links to any serious karmas from the past and serious karmas that will go into the future. So 8th house is the connection between lives. So all these should be seen from Randhrad, from the 8th house. Bhagyam Syalam cha Dharmam cha Bhratrupatnyadikans tatha. Bhagyam means fortune, Syalam means Sala. Shala is the Sanskrit word, Sala is the Hindi translation, yes. Sala is the Vikriti of Syala. So basically, of course, Sala has a negative connotation. You say basically, if you say Sala to somebody who is not really your Sala, either he is too close to you or you are basically insulting his sister. So Sala is basically a swear word, but Syala basically means wife's sibling, particularly wife's brother. Why 9th house? Well, 3rd from 7th. 7th is wife, and the 3rd is siblings of wife. Similarly, siblings of husband can also be seen from the 9th house. Okay, 3rd from 7th. Bhagyam Syalam cha Dharmam cha Dharmam. Dharma means righteousness, duty. Bhratrupatnyadikans tatha. Bhratrupatni means brother's wife. So again, 7th from 3rd. 3rd is brother, 7th from 3rd is brother's wife. Tirthayatradikam sarvam. Tirthayatra means pilgrimages. Sarvam. Pilgrimages, all. Dharmasthana nirikshayet. All should be seen from the 9th house of righteousness.
Father is not.
Yep. Yes. Good point. He hasn't mentioned father. Okay, we come to father next. Rajyam chakasham vrittim cha Rajyam cha akasham vrittim cha Manam chaiva pitus tatha Pravasasya runasyapi Vyomasthana nirikshanam. Rajyam means kingdom.
Means position.
Yeah. Basically position. You may not have a kingdom, but you have your own kingdom. Rajyam cha akasham. Akasham means, akasham literally means space. It basically means your place, your position in the society. Vrittim means profession. Manam. Manam means the respect that you have from in the world. Basically your honor in the society. Your position in the society. Pitus tatha. Father. So he is mentioning the 10th house for father, not the 9th. The 7th from 4th. 4th is mother, 7th from there, 10th house is being mentioned for father. This is what some Western astrologers do. Okay, we have to reconcile this with some other things that Parasara will mention in some other chapters. So maybe there is some corruption. We have to reconcile later. Let us for now let's just observe that Parasara said 10th house is father. Let's not switch to using the 10th house. Let's continue to use the 9th house. We will reconcile later. Because this is not all. This is not everything that Parasara is going to talk about father. He will obviously mention more about father later. Okay? Pravasasya means being in a faraway place, being in a different place basically. Living in foreign places, abroad, living abroad. Runasyapi, runam means debt. Debts. Vyomasthana nirikshanam. So all those should be seen from 10th house. Debts. What are the houses that we are used to seeing for debts so far? Secondly is money, but debts, what are the houses we see? We usually see the 6th and 8th, right? We see the 6th and 8th houses. normally. But here he is saying 10th house. So again that is another surprise. We will reconcile later. नाना वस्तु भवस्यापि पुत्र जायादिकस्य च आयं वृद्धिं पशूनां च भवस्थानां निरीक्षणं नाना वस्तु भवस्यापि. That means having all kinds of objects. Nana vastu means all kinds of objects. So basically accumulating various objects, various material articles. Putra jayadikasya cha. That means children's spouses. 7th from the 5th, that is 11th. Ayam means the income that you get. The ayam, the income that you have, basically the money that is coming in, the gain. Vruddhim means prosperity, increase in your in your financial position. Pashunam cha, that means your animals, the animals that you own. All that shows basically if you own a lot of elephants, for example, it shows your prosperity. Pashunam cha bhavasthana nirikshanam. All those should be seen from the 11th house. Now the last one. Yayam cha vairi vrittanta rihva manchadikam tatha jayachaisha hi gnatavyam iti sarvatra dhimata. Yayam means expenditures. Yeah, expenses. Expenditure. Vairi vrittantam. That means vairi vrittantam. That means vrittantam means details. Details of the enemies. That it can also mean the detailed plans of enemies. That means the plans, the elaborate plans that enemies are making. Usually when somebody makes an elaborate plan, it's a secretive one. So that is why we usually say 12th house shows secret enemies. So people who are making a very secret plan, a very elaborate plan against you, all those are seen from the 12th house. So Vairi Vrittantam could mean, literally it means the details of enemies. He translates as history of enemies, but it could mean elaborate plans of enemies, the elaborations of the enemies, the detailed enmities, details of enemies. Rishva Manchadikam Tatha, and your own end. So even though 8th house shows the death and 2nd house, 12th house can also show it. 12th house is the final end of you, your end. It can be moksham, it can be death. Vyayachaishahi gnatavyam iti sarvatra dhimata. Vyayachai, all those are seen from the 12th house. So these are the meanings of various houses as per Parashara in this chapter. Now he is giving 3 modifiers. Yo yo shubhair yuto drushto bhavo va pati drushtayuk. Yo yo shubhair yuto drushto. Whichever house is shubhair yuto means occupied by benefic planets. Drushto means aspected by benefic planets. Bhavo va patidrushtiyuk. Patidrushtayuk. Or aspected or containing the Lord. So either a benefic. Shubha means actually, see, there are different interpretations here. Shubha can mean natural benefic or functional benefic. Usually Parashara use the word Saumya for natural benefits and Shubha for functional benefits. So it would actually mean functional benefit rather than natural benefit. But we don't know for a fact. Okay? So whenever benefics are, either benefics or the Lord of the house is occupying the house or aspecting the house. Yuva pravruddho rajyastha kumaro vapi yatpatihi. Yuva pravruddho rajyastha kumaro vapi yatpatihi. And it also says, or yuva pravruddho, if a planet is in yuvavastha or vruddhavastha, rajyastha means in the 10th house, kumaro vapi yatpatihi. So if the lord of the house is in the 10th house from the house, if the lord of the house is in the 10th house from the house, in yuvavastha or kumaravastha, he is also saying pravruddhavastha. So he seems to think that vruddhavastha is a good avastha. You are very mature basically. So not Balavastha, although the initial avasthas are not covered. But the thing is, Kumaravastha, Mrutavastha is again not covered because you are already dead. But the middle three are covered. Okay, except the Bala and Mrutavastha, the middle three, adolescent, youthful and old. If the planet is in those, if the lord of the house is in those avasthas and in the 10th from the house. So basically, 10th house is the execution of any house matters. 10th house from any house is how that house is executed. Right? So for that matter, for that reason, the 10th house from any house is important. If the lord is there, that is again a good thing. So either the lord or a benefic, either in the house or aspecting the house, or the lord of the house in one of the middle three avasthas. Basically in the middle 18 degrees of the sign and in the 10th house from the sign. Then those are good. And what is? Tadikshana tad bhava sokhyam vadayat buddha. Tadikshana vasat. So based on the aspects on that house, tad bhava sokhyam vadayat buddha. All the happiness with respect to that house matters should be explained by the learned man. Yajjad bhava patir nashtas trikeshadyaischa samyutah. Yajjad bhava patir nashtas nashtah. Yajjad bhava patir nashtah. So trikeshadyaischa samyutah. Bhavam na vikshate samyak supto vruddho mrutothava pidito vasya bhavasya phalam nashtam vadet dhruvam. Okay. Yajjad bhavapatir nashtas trikeshadyaischa samyutah. I am not sure what it means. Trikeshadyaih. Oh, I see. Oh, okay. So, I see. If the yajjad bhavapatir nashta, if the lord of any house is going into malefic signs, the 3rd house, 6th house, etc., 3rd, 6th, 8th and 11th, if the lord of any house is in one of those evil houses and he is not aspecting the house and he is either sleeping, either in the suptavastha, or he is vruddhavastha or mutavastha. This is actually not consistent. He should have said bala or mrutavastha instead of vruddha or mutavastha. But he is saying literally he is saying if the planet is in vruddhavastha or mutavastha, which is suspicious. Pidito vasya bhavasya. Pidito means or he is afflicted by bad planets. Then bhavasya phalam nashtam vadet dhruvam. That means the results of the house are destroyed. So basically, all the analysis, subjective analysis that we have been doing so far, is basically being formulated here as a formula. That's it. There isn't anything really interesting. The only interesting thing is the lord of a house in the 10th from it is beneficial. But the thing is that Rajastha can be interpreted in a different way. If the lord of any house is in the 10th house, it is good for that house. That is another way to interpret. Okay. That is one plausible way to interpret. Another plausible way is to say that he is in the 10th house from the house. So I will not give my view on that. I will just give you both the interpretations and you try to apply. Okay. So with that I will end today's class. We will meet next week at the same time. Same place.
Question.
Go ahead.
Yesterday we were. It's okay. Sorry, 5 minutes. Like if the 5th house or 12th house, the lords are exchanging. Say
5th house and
Aries is the Lagna.
Yeah.
And 5th house has Jupiter.
Yeah.
And then the 12th house has Sun.
Okay.
So when the exchange is happening,
Yeah.
Jupiter will only the 12th house matters and 5th house that's how gets exchanged, or Jupiter will act as 9th and 12th both during the exchange.
No, only those house results are exchanged.
Okay.
Sun will not be total Jupiter. He will be the 12th lord.
Okay.
Sun in the 12th house will act as though he is the 12th lord. Jupiter in the 5th house, he will act as though 5th lord who is in the 5th house. But at the same time, he will not forget that he is also the 9th lord.
Okay.
Jupiter. Okay. So only the houses that are being exchanged, the results of those will be exchanged. Okay. Any other questions? We said 2 questions, so there is one more.
Yeah, one more is only that relative to that chart, particular chart. So
Okay, we will do it in the next class.
that's why I
Okay, yeah. Okay. So I will end today because my wife is not so well and my
Yes, right. Yeah.
dad is not well. I'll just
Do
go.
you think, Narsanaji, you wanted to take a few weeks off? Is that something to come? No.
Oh, okay, actually,
We're only through for next 3 weeks. 2 weeks.
yeah.
2 weeks or 3
Yeah,
weeks?
2 weeks.
Okay, we'll take the next week off, and about the week later I will send a mail. Okay, so next week is basically off. So take some rest and do some more examples, and you should overtake other people when they
No,
come
we have
back.
I have a lot of charts coming in.
Okay,
So,
so I will end today. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.